Welcome back. Russia has decided to carry on with its airstrikes in Syria based on what it believes is success over the Islamic State, while the United States and the rest of the coalition feel Russia is coming in with some ulterior motive, which they have not figured out yet. And Russia believes it's time to put aside all the bickering and work for the greater good.
For more than 2 weeks, Russian airstrikes have reportedly pounded specific targets in Syria, believed to be areas taken over by the Islamic State. While rights groups have disputed this, the Russian government on Saturday released videos supporting its claim. State television said the army had begun a military operation in Homs and Damascus, with heavy airstrikes and artillery barrages early on Thursday. And while Russian airstrikes pound targets from the top, the Syrian army, supported by foreign allies including Iran, has launched several ground offensives to retake insurgent-held territory. The army operations include a campaign to recapture rebel-held land in Hama, Idlib and Latakia provinces in the northwest. Amateur video purportedly showed heavy smoke and dust rising from the town of Talbise, north of Homs, on Wednesday. An unidentified male voice can be heard in the background, claiming it was the aftermath of barrel bomb airstrikes. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights did confirm there were heavy airstrikes around the town of Talbise and other villages in the area, as well as fierce clashes in the southern edges of the town and nearby villages on Thursday. The observatory said a few miles south of Talbise, 5 civilians and 6 insurgents had been killed in Tiermala. Recapturing the area of North Homs will help reassert President Bashar al-Assad's control over the main population centers of western Syria and secure territory linking Damascus to the coastal heartland of his minority Alawite sect.
Он, кстати, многонациональный, многоконфессиональный, сложный, и это вопрос выбора самого народа. В настоящий момент мы исходим из...
While the US and Russia may not see eye to eye on the airstrikes, Russia's Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev said in an interview that all Russia is interested in is defeating the Islamic State militants. When asked in the interview if Syria had to be ruled by President Assad, he said it was up to the Syrian people to decide who will be the head of Syria, and that Russia is operating on the premise that Bashar al-Assad is the legitimate president. An uncomfortable United States said on Friday that there will be no meeting with Russia over the continued rule of President Assad, and that the Syrian civil war could only end with a political solution leading to a new inclusive government.
For a little more than 2 weeks now, there have been isolated cases of Israelis being attacked and killed by Palestinians in the West Bank, and vice versa. It gets even more complicated when an Israeli border policewoman is stabbed and wounded.
Tensions are indeed escalating in the West Bank. A series of isolated attacks last week heightened on the weekend as a Palestinian stabbed an Israeli soldier, wounding him moderately. The attacker was said to have been shot and seriously wounded. On Saturday, 4 Palestinians were shot dead and a 5th was seriously injured in what Israel said were thwarted knife attacks. 41 Palestinians and 7 Israelis have died in recent street violence, triggered in part by Palestinian anger over what they see as increased Jewish encroachment on Jerusalem's Al-Aqsa Mosque compound. Israel says it will keep status quo at the Holy Compound, which is also revered by Jews as a location of 2 destroyed biblical Jewish temples. On Saturday, Palestinian masked protesters in the West Bank city of Ramallah near Beit El settlement set tires ablaze and hurled stones at the Israeli troops during the clashes. One female masked protester said they wanted to show the entire world they were not being silent about their lost rights. Peace talks between Israel and Palestine collapsed in 2014 over Israeli settlement building in the occupied West Bank and East Jerusalem, areas Palestinians seek to be part of a state it has been trying to build.
Convening this emergency.
While the United States has weighed in on the situation, Secretary of State John Kerry speaking to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu over the telephone about it, he said he plans to travel to the Middle East soon to try to calm the violence. The UN Security Council has held a special meeting to discuss the situation.
Going to do something about it.
Delegates from Israel and Palestine invited to speak at the meeting blamed each other for the escalation in violence. The Palestinian ambassador to the UN, Riyad Mansour, urged the UNSC to intervene to end the aggression against defenseless Palestinian people and against their shrines, which have been subjected to violations by the Israeli military occupation and by Israeli settlers and extremists. Israel's deputy ambassador to the UN, David Wirtz, said Israel is facing an onslaught of terrorism where men, women and children are being stabbed to death on the streets on a daily basis. He accused the UNSC for not calling out the Palestinian leadership to stop the incitement, nor condemning it. But during the meeting, the UN blamed the increasing tensions in the West Bank and East Jerusalem for the recent upsurge in deadly violence. It warned of a possible religious fight that could have catastrophic consequences on both Israelis and Palestinians.
As with the many deadly incidents over the past weeks, the Secretary General strongly condemns this reprehensible act and calls on all those responsible to be swiftly brought to justice.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he was ready to meet Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas to help restore calm.
Still ahead, we take the discussion on Russia's presence in Syria and the escalating tension in the Middle East to Innocent Chukwuma. Please stay with us.